Before we begin this podcast, please be advised that the following episode contains language that some listeners may find offensive and inappropriate. The opinions expressed by the host and guests are their own and do not reflect the views of the podcast producers. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the final part of Ray Johnson's story on Voices of a Killer. When we last left off, Ray cast doubts over the prosecution's argument, questioning the credibility of an eyewitness report. We now return to the days after the crime, when investigators singled out Ray and public opinion turned against him on this episode of Voices of a Killer.
Whenever you left there after fighting them, how long after that till you got arrested?
They picked me up from my job a week later and gave me a 24-hour investigation, and they let me go. That was like May 1st or something.
On that 24-hour hold, did they say that they had the video of you fighting?
No, they didn't say none of that.
So they didn't have that yet, and they still suspected you?
They had a word-of-mouth thing. That's all they had was somebody saying, they actually was going off of one person. They said somebody told them one person was involved, and because my glasses was on the scene, they put me and him together.
Yeah. So after that 24-hour hold, how long did it take before they came and got you?
I guess it was maybe a month after that. My federal probation officer came and locked me up in the halfway house, and then they charged the case from there. So I didn't get locked up till June 2nd.
Gotcha. So
they didn't lock me up till June 2nd, and it wasn't a state charge. The feds locked me up for federal violation for being at the bar around felons. So they put me back in the feds. July 16th is when my face was on the news for this murder.
During this time that you're out after this incident, did you hear about this guy being shot and you're like, oh, wait a second, that's the same guy that I got in an altercation with?
Yes, I heard the same night that had happened.
So you knew, holy shit, the same guy that I just got in an altercation with is now dead down the street?
Yeah, I knew that had transpired. That, everybody from the bar was calling me and everything.
Wow. Did they suspect it was you?
No. They know it's not me. Everybody, even the dude's family, know that I'm not the person who pulled the trigger.
So you mentioned that the victim's family doesn't even believe it's you. Whenever you went to trial, was the victim's family there?
Yeah, just a couple of them. Yeah, it wasn't all. It was three people there.
Did any of them, whenever you were found guilty and sentenced or whatever, did they read a victim's impact statement?
Yeah, the two sisters did. One sister, she got up there, and I understand her anguish. I understand that she was upset and stuff.
So she did think it was you?
Yeah, from the evidence, she wished death on me and all that. And then the other sister was like, I don't think that it should be like that. I believe in God, but I'm going with my sister. But the way the one sister's acting, I just don't. I don't know how to take it all. Like I said in the beginning, though, the person that died on this case, they were trying to do harm to me. So at the same time, I understand. I told her in the courtroom. I told all of them after they talked. I said, hey, I know it's hard losing someone, a loved one, but I'm still going to prove my innocence when it's all said and done.
So, Ray, is it possible? I mean, you did have several people that you were, that were kind of in a threatening manner. You got in a fight with one. He's one of many in a group. Is it possible that in self-defense, you're just like, man, I got to make sure I don't get hurt or killed. I got to fire some shots off. Is that possible that happened?
Never fired a shot.
Okay. So what did you get sentenced to?
I got sentenced to first-degree murder, life without.
So, okay, now life without means that you don't really have any chance at parole. That means that there's really nothing for you to lose except a lot to gain by, if you were guilty, to go ahead and say, you know what, I just want to go ahead and admit to this and things like that. But you're basically saying that for sure that you are innocent and you're going to hold your innocence all the way to the very end?
All the way to the end. Because if that was the case, I would have took a plea bargain in the beginning. If I felt like I was guilty and I knew that I did it, I would have just took a plea bargain and said, so at least one day I know I could have got to see my kids again.
And you're pretty new into the prison. Well, for this charge, you're new on this bit, which means that you and I both know that you're going to be forced to take these classes where you're supposed to accept responsibility. How do you get through those classes when you're like, well, I can't accept responsibility because I'm innocent?
Well, I did that. I did one of them. It's called ICVC. I've done that.
Yeah.
And this kind of situation, did transpire. And I want to learn to feel the emotion of what transpired because, my name is involved, and I don't want them people to have no reason to dislike me. But I know I can't really talk to no one and explain my story to them because there's really no one knows what happened out there except outside the people that was out there.
We'd like to put our trust in the prison system to weed out criminals and deliver justice without error. Unfortunately, it's a money-making apparatus riddled by prejudice, and sometimes that means innocent men get locked up for crimes they didn't do. For example, 70-year-old Glenn Simmons made headlines in 2023 after being exonerated for a murder he didn't commit. His 48-year wrongful conviction is the longest on record, and there are likely many more innocent people languishing in prison. Of course, it's entirely possible that Ray is really Derek's killer. But it's also possible that Ray was just an unfortunate man in the wrong place at the wrong time, somebody prosecutors thought fit their profile of the would-be killer. As I mentioned to Ray, now that all his appeals are exhausted and with a life sentence ahead, he has nothing left to lose. If he is the killer, he could confess and rid himself of the crushing guilt he must be under. But if Ray is innocent as he claims, his future remains bleak, while the real killer walks free. Facing the long road ahead of him, Ray holds on to the hope that justice will eventually prevail. After the break, we hear Ray's final thoughts about his future.
Well, so Ray, the sister sounds like she was very emotional and very upset with you. She went off on you, didn't she?
Yeah, and I don't blame her because she's only going off what the prosecution told her. She don't know. I don't know.
I understand.
Her.
I understand. There's definitely sometimes it's tougher for a defendant, so I get it, and that's one of the things I try to push. I'm not saying that you're innocent, not saying you're guilty, but I do know that it's a lot harder for a defendant than it is for a prosecutor, I believe. So, what would you say to her now? It's been a while, but I guarantee you her wounds are just feeling the same as it did that day. But what would you say to her if she heard this?
I definitely would want my condolences to go out because I haven't felt the pain of losing a brother like that, but at the same time, I know it's not a good feeling. And as far as with me, I definitely want to send my condolences out to her pain and sorrow, and I only wish the best from here on out for them. So,
Ray, if you're the person that's not killed this person, that means that there's another killer out there. Who is it?
Well, on a question like that, I mean, we did say in the beginning of this conversation where I come from. I mean, I don't know who done it. All I can say is I didn't pull no triggers, though.
Yeah. Do you think one of your buddies with you might have done it?
Well, all I know is I didn't pull any triggers.
You're set to die in prison. How do you resolve yourself?
Well, I got a big support system. I got kids. I just had a grandkid. I mean, I just go from the Bible to the kids, and that's, keep my head up, and I just keep pushing and take it day by day. I stay in this law library and try to figure my way out.
How many more pills you got?
I'm on the last one that they offer.
So the habeas?
Yeah, federal habeas.
Which is probably the most difficult one. So does that depress you knowing that you have a very slim shot?
Nah, I don't do depression. I don't even do stress for real. I believe that God got my back, and I know that I'm innocent of what they got me in here for. And just like I told the judge, it's not if I'm going to get out, it's when.
So you pretty sure that you'll get out?
Yeah, 100% sure.
What would happen if I called you 20 years from now and you're still in there? What would
that don't mean I ain't getting out.
Right.
That don't mean I ain't getting out.
Well, I may just be that person that calls you 20 years from now if you're still in there.
Well, I hope you call me and I'm not in here. I hope you call me on my cell phone and
honestly,
tell me, hey, 20.
Honestly, I hope I call and you're not in there too. I think that would be wonderful to have it to where somebody really does, have final justice to get, you know what I mean? Obviously, if you're the killer, then you're where you belong. But I think you do have somewhat of the case if there's no witness that actually got up there and pointed you out. Obviously, there's two sides to the story, Ray, and I'm only getting yours, but I got yours for a reason because yours is not hurt as much as the other. But I appreciate you letting me ask all these questions, Ray, and I hope the best for you, man.
I sure appreciate you, too. Make sure you have a good evening.
All right, bye-bye.
On the next episode of Voices of a Killer.
What a fucking shit show my life has been, and I am so sorry. We went out to Bonner Springs, and it was hey, what the fuck was that?
What do you mean?
Well, first off, we didn't even know about the gun.
Oh, so y'all were like to the person that shot? Like, where the hell that come from?
Yeah, and I thought you knew where we were going. Who was this naked man that I just fought?
A naked man come out of his bedroom and attacked you.
Yeah.
You probably shit your pants, didn't you?
Well, and then every day for the next 10 years.
I want to thank Ray for sharing his story with us today. His ability to be open and honest is what makes this podcast so special. That's a wrap on this episode of Voices of a Killer. A big shout out to Sonic Futures, who handled the production, audio editing, music licensing, and promotion of this podcast. If you want to hear more episodes like this one, make sure to visit our website at voicesofakiller.com. There you can find previous episodes, transcripts, and additional information about the podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Your feedback helps us improve and reach new listeners. Thank you for your support, and we can't wait to share more stories with you in the future. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Toby, and we'll see you next time on Voices of a Killer.